I'm driving a 2007 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS. This is actually my 2007 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS. Being inside of here, this interior is very comfortable. You have, from the factory, a very easy radio to use, although it is a little basic. The climate controls are very easy to use. You have very clear gauges, and the seats are very comfortable. I kind of wish that these seats had a little bit more side support. You can see that you don't really get held into your seat very well, although the seats are very comfortable. I kind of wish that with the sports package of this car that they would have put some more aggressive seats, but I guess you can't expect everything from this car. It came from the factory costing in the upper 20s in terms of price. The 2007 Chevy Monte Carlo is a 5.3-liter V8 that produces 303 horsepower and 323 pounds of torque. And that power is very noticeable from the second that you put your foot on the gas. These cars are rated for a quarter mile of anywhere from the high 13s I've seen to mid 14s, depending on the launch you get, because this car gets a lot of wheel spin, having 323 pounds of torque running through the front wheels with not super big tires. You can expect a lot of wheel spin. So 0 to 60 times for this car, I've seen range anywhere from the low 5s all the way to about 6 seconds flat. This car actually handles surprisingly well. I wasn't expecting this car to handle as good as it does. It's a big V8 front-wheel drive Chevrolet, but it does handle very well for its size. When you get into a tight hairpin, you are going to notice it's a front-wheel drive car. It's going to understeer, not oversteer. I bought this car to an autocross event not too long ago and actually put in a pretty decent time. What you do notice, though, is that the traction control does interfere a lot. When it's off even, if you go into a corner giving it any sort of gas, it is going to kick on, and that's pretty annoying. I'm going to list my top 5 pros and cons with this vehicle. I'm going to start with my cons and end with my pros, so I can end on a positive note. My number one con with this vehicle, I would have to say, is the oil consumption. This car goes through a lot of oil. It does have that cylinder deactivation feature, where when you're in the highway, it goes from 8-cylinder to 4-cylinder mode, which is great for gas mileage. However, the trade-off is you go through a lot of oil. On forums and everything, I've seen people report as much as a quart every 1,200 miles, which is a lot of oil. And 5,000 miles, or a little bit over 5,000 miles, you could pretty much almost run the car empty, which is kind of scary. My next con for this vehicle is that they only offer a 4-speed automatic for this car. It would have been fun to have a manual in this car, but I guess what can you expect? It's 2007s, right before GM's bailout. I don't think that they were going to realistically invest a whole new transmission for these cars. The next thing is a really important thing. If you're specifically getting the Monte Carlo, or I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure that the Grand Prix, since Pontiac's out of business, would be like this too. Finding parts for this car is really hard. The whole interior, these door panels, everything is really difficult to track down since they don't make the Monte Carlo anymore. I've tried to get little bits here and there, and you either got to go on eBay, or even the junkyards around here don't have any parts for these cars, so that's something to think about. My next con, and this is kind of nitpicky because I'm kind of coming down where I can't really think of things that I dislike, because I actually overall really like this car, but the interior quality could have been better. The number one thing that bothers me about this car is that these door panels are straight off of the 2000 Chevy Monte Carlo. I know that it's all considered the same gen from 2000 to 2007, but they changed pretty much everything else in here. I feel like they should have at least changed the door panels. A lot of this stuff feels a little too early 2000s for me. The Impala interior would have been nice to have in here, but it's not a bad interior. It's very comfortable. They did make a lot of stuff cleaner looking from the 2000 Monte Carlo, I would definitely rather have this interior, but I feel like they could have put a little bit more effort into it. My next con is this car is very hard to hook. You are going to get a lot of wheel spin in this car. If you go near the gas anywhere below, I want to say 30 miles an hour, there's a good chance that you're going to get the wheels to spin. Right now I'm doing about 30 miles an hour. The ground is a little bit slick, but still, even a little bit slick at 30, it's a clear day out. As you can see, I'm going to hit the gas. I'm doing about 34 actually, but see, it spins. It's really hard to get good traction in this car. Now for my pros. You might notice that this video looks a little bit different. That's because when I went to go edit it, I realized that the video stopped filming the second that I finished with my cons. So, on with my pros. My number one pro with this car definitely has to be the power plant. This car is surprisingly fast. A lot of people probably think that this car is just a regular V6, which definitely adds to the sleeper factor of it. But little do they know, it's got a full-blown LS under the hood, and it is a real LS. It's got the LS6 heads, it's got a 6-bolt main, it's all aluminum. This is a really great motor under here. My next pro is going to be the room in this car. There is a lot of room in this car. You have a really big back seat, you have a really big trunk, and an overall pretty big car. This car is pretty long. It's longer than my friend's Dodge Durango, so this car does have a lot of space. My next pro in this car has to be the noise. This car, even from the factory, sounds great. When I first got this car, before I put the Flowmasters on the back, people actually used to ask me if I had exhaust on this. So this thing really sounds good even from the factory, and I'll put a clip of that in now. My next pro, and probably going to get some hate for this, but whatever, is that the car's front-wheel drive. I'm not saying at all that I prefer a front-wheel drive performance car to a rear-wheel drive performance car. However, as you can probably see, there's snow on all the grass and everything here. This car does very good in the snow, and if you're looking for a car that you could use all year round, especially an LS car that you could use all year round, there's not a lot of choices out there. You can get a Trailblazer SS or a Silverado SS, but both those cars are hard to find, and those are trucks and SUVs. I would at least average probably 10 miles a gallon in one of those. This car is rated for a pretty good 18 city, 28 highway because of that cylinder deactivation feature that I mentioned earlier. So I average about 14.5 to 15.5, but if you're looking for an all year round car that has a V8 in it, this is a very good choice. My next pro with this car is, like I said before, that the handling is surprisingly good. On long back roads, this car is great. Once you get into a tight corner, though, you are going to realize that the car is going to understeer, but overall, the handling in this car is very good, and the body roll is very well controlled. So that's my top 5 pros and top 5 cons of the 07 Monte Carlo SS. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section below. If there's anything that you think I could have done better, please feel free to give me your constructive criticisms, and please subscribe if you like the video. So that's all for now. Thank you.